Hello, friends, brothers, and sisters in the Lord. Welcome to Pathways of Hope, a daily reflection on the gospel and the hope that it brings to us in these times. My name is Ted, and I'll be sharing some reflections on the gospel for today. Today is February 13, 2021, Saturday, and the gospel for today is taken from Mark chapter 8, verses 1 to 10. In today's gospel, we hear a familiar account, the feeding of the multitudes, but this time according to Mark. In the gospel, we hear that Jesus feels compassion for the crowds who have been following him as he preaches, because they have been with him for 3 days and they have had nothing to eat. We hear about how he uses 7 loaves of bread and 2 fish to feed the crowds, with none of them going hungry and with a lot to spare. Without a doubt, the crowd had been nourished by what they had heard from Jesus. Otherwise, they wouldn't have followed him for 3 days, forsaking their own hunger. But Jesus was not content to simply feed their souls with his word. He was also concerned with feeding their bodies with food. Jesus fed the crowd's hunger for both physical and spiritual food. And in this Markian account of the feeding of the 4,000 with the loaves and the fish, we hear the same theme every time Jesus acts. He acts out of love and compassion because of a need, and he provides abundantly. Jesus' logic is not a logic of sufficiency. It is a logic of overwhelming abundance. He satisfies our hunger for everything. He feeds our spiritual hunger with his word and his presence, and he feeds our physical hunger with provision through grace. Jesus is the true bread from heaven, and the account of the multiplication of the loaves prefigures the abundance of the unique bread of life that is his own body at the Eucharist. And like the crowds that followed Jesus, we are ourselves called to approach the table of the Lord, to be fed, nourished, and satisfied by this bread that truly feels our hunger. When we receive the invitation to come before the table of the Lord at the Eucharistic celebration, what do we expect to receive? Perhaps like the centurion who confessed his unworthiness to welcome Jesus into his house, we plead our own unworthiness and expect forgiveness. Perhaps it is the simple joy of being invited into the presence of the Lord, especially at this time when access to Masses and Holy Communion are still limited. Whatever it is we expect, Jesus is able to provide in overwhelming abundance. But the one thing perhaps that is most important is that special, intimate relationship of being united, being in communion with Jesus, the bread of life, the one who truly satisfies. I pray today for the grace to hunger for Jesus every day, and for the grace to be filled with his presence that alone truly satisfies. I pray that you may be blessed with that very same grace. If you have been made more hopeful by this short commentary, please do spread that hope by sharing this short reflection. This has been Pathways of Hope. Thank you for listening. God bless us all.